Hello? Is anybody there? Is this thing on? Yeah? Hello? Oh, yeah! Shit, it's on. Hello, YouTube! It's your friendly neighborhood Chef Shakery. Or should I go, what up? Or maybe, what up? Or who knows what my intro will be. But anyways, I thought I would do this video today. It's getting warm outside. We've got mid-50s today. So I thought I'd come out here in the shop and do a little video. This video I want to do, thank people for subscribing to my channel. I've got 98 subscribers right now, and I'm coming up on a year of my first video that I've uploaded onto YouTube. My first video was my Durango flipping 300,000 miles. So that was my first foray into YouTube, putting videos on. So since then, I've gotten 98 subscribers. I've put on 73 videos, and this will be number 74. So I thought I'd come on and say thank you very much. And then there's a thing that I don't put my face up on my camera very much because I'm an ugly fuck. Who wants to look at this ugly mug when you got cars to look at and tools? But I just want to do this real quick and just let people know that that I'm doing some more videos. As you can see on previous videos, I've done things on my Fox bodies, getting them out of my building. I'm cleaning up my property, and that's another story. We'll get into that and get into how I became a mechanic, sort of, kind of. And what I did with myself with this mechanics ability. As you can see, I'm in a shop right now. I was born, raised, and pretty much trained in this garage. This is my dad's shop. He built it before I came along. He built it specifically. He wanted it wide enough, deep enough that he could put vehicles in here, work on, and not have a cramped space. But as you can see, it's got a lot of junk in it now from over the years of collecting stuff. My dad's been a mechanic since he started his professional mechanic career in 1954 in a Buick garage. So that just tells you a little bit of something about kind of background I've got. So I've been out in this garage since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, learning tools, learning what they were, learning how to use them, tore apart motors. I've been tearing apart motors since I was a kid. My job in the shop here, my dad hired me, basically trained me to tear apart motors. Back in the early 80s, when GM was putting diesel motors, General Motors came out with that 5.7 Oldsmobile diesel. It was an Oldsmobile built diesel. My dad bought a bunch of them cars, and my job, we had a local junkyard that would save every single 350 Oldsmobile and 403 that came in, and he would sell them to my dad. So that's what we did. We built 350 Oldsmobiles, 403s, you name it. So that's where I come in, and that's when I started pulling motors. The 350s that my dad bought at the junkyard would come here. I'd tear them down. I could tear down a motor like you won't believe. There's a lot to learn, and just tearing apart a motor. You learn where bolts go. You learn different size of bolts, how they use your tools, just tearing apart motors. And another thing I did, my dad worked at Ford Motor Company also. He started working at Ford Motor Company in 1973. So I come along, I was born in 1971. So in the late 70s, early 80s, my dad ended up getting laid off from Ford, so he specifically worked out here in the shop to put food on the table while he was laid off. So I learned quite a bit in them years while he was off work. I was a kid, didn't really like working on cars yet. You know, I wanted to do kid stuff. I wanted to play with neighbor girls and whatnot. But anyways, coming out here in the shop, learned a lot to tear apart motors. Did hundreds of them. I can't remember how many we done. It's uncountable how many we did. And my job was, when he got called back to work, he went back to Ford in 84 or 5. Can't remember exactly what year it was. But he got called back to Ford, went back to work. So my job here in mid to late 80s, when he brought a car in, I tore the motor, pulled the motor out. And them diesels, you ended up having to pull the gas tank out of them. So I had to pull a motor, gas tank, have them dropped out and everything ready to go by the time my dad got home from work, so he could help me put motors in, rebuild motors, whatnot. So that's how I began working on cars, just working out here in the shop. And I've been working out here ever since. Really, this is where everything's at. So I've had a lot of experience working on cars. You name it, I've done it. I've stripped cars from the bumper to bumper. I pulled them in the garage here, stripped them down, and I've put them back together again. Pulled motors. This little shop here has probably pulled more motors than most big shops have ever had. There's been hundreds of vehicles in this garage had motors pulled out of them. My dad's toolbox, if you want to see, is right over here. That's his toolbox over there. I'll get more into that. And then I got mine set up over here. As you can see, I'm sitting in front of one of my Mustangs I pulled out of my building. See if we get this squared back up here. Here's one of the cars I pulled out of the building here. I got to pull the heads off of it and do some heads. I got to set a pair of heads up there on the bench, ready to go for it. So yeah, that's how I became a mechanic. I've been doing this my whole entire life. So the guys out there that think I don't know what I'm doing, come look me up. Hey, I challenge anybody to build a motor, doing whatever it takes to get a motor running. Get the car running. I've done it my whole life. So, yeah, I just like to put this out there that I've had problems with a couple channels out there. Yeah, they've called me. One guy called me a lazy begging drunk. Well, for one thing, I'm not. Well, I could be lazy if I wanted to be. I'm kind of lazy right now because it's cold out, so I don't want to work out in the cold. So I'm kind of lazy right now. Begging? I've never begged for anything in my life, really. I've begged my dad for money for cars that I wanted to buy. Drunk? I don't drink much. I'm occasionally drink. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Don't do drugs. My money is put into vehicles. That's what my passion was. I've always worked on vehicles. My first Mustang I ever owned, I raced it. So that's where my money was put into. My money was put into cars instead of drugs and alcohol and all that other stupid stuff. So, yeah. I've had a lot. I'm going to do a lot of. There's going to be a lot of content that I'm going to be putting out. I haven't put out a whole lot. As you can see on my channel, I do cooking, I do tools, I show tools. So if anybody makes some suggestions, comments of what tools they'd like to see, I've got a collection of tools that I've collected up over the years. And I'm going to be doing a lot of videos on tools. I'll be doing a lot of videos on car builds. My cooking, I love to cook. That's another passion of mine. Love to cook, so I'll be doing a lot of cooking videos. And then I've had a lot of requests from guys to see some of my vehicles that I have. I've done some live streams and been out in the dark to show vehicles, but not really necessarily been on here with a video showing vehicles. So maybe you guys right now would like to see some vehicles right now. Maybe I should take you guys outside and we'll check out some vehicles real quick. So let's do that. Let me pause this real quick and let's get to this. Alright guys, yeah, starting with this one right here is a previous video I had on my channel here. This is one of the vehicles my trucks that I bought, was doing a project on. Well, it got interrupted. We'll get more into that interruption here in a little bit. And yeah, there's a Escort ZX2. I put a motor in this car, timing belt, water pump and whatnot before I put a motor in it. There's my Durango that I bought a long time ago, and that's my main tow vehicle. I use a tow. There's a SN95 Mustang. There's some rear ends. I'll get into them rear ends here in another video. There's an Explorer that I pulled back from Florida. It was wrecked in the front end. I bought it cheap. That will be in a video here pretty soon. I had to put a motor in it. There's a F-150 right there that I bought to put a motor in. There's the cab from that build I'm doing on that truck. There's a Contour sitting right there that I got to do some transmission work in. It runs. I had to put a timing belt in that. Here is a Buick Regal, and we'll get into a real big video on this car here. I'm going to do a specific video just on this particular car. Here is all the front nose and bed for my truck build that I have. Right there is my 34-foot Itasca motorhome. This got the 454 Chevy big block in it. Right there's a Windstar. Right here's a Probe GT that I've got to work on. It is sloppy muddy out here, guys. And there's one of my Fox bodies. And then what's underneath the cover right here is another build that I'll be doing a lot of video on here. It's together. It's not running yet, but it's a nasty build. This will be let me get the cover off here and I'll show you guys. There you go. It's a 1991 notchback. It's got a little built motor in it. Maybe I'll show you the motor here real quick and you can get a look at it. There you go. So, any of them guys on them channels that say I'm lazy. Oh, I'm also broke too, by the way. One guy said I'm a broke lazy ass. But yeah, here's another build that I'll be doing some videos on, if you like. You can see that. So now this motor here, well, I'll do a specific video on this later. So we'll get back to this one later. I'll tell you about it later. Then there's another, back to that Mustang. And then here's my truck build here. That's what's I've gotten to on this build. I have painted the frame on it, and it's been sitting out here all winter. I need to get back to it, but I'll tell you the reason why I got off of it. But let's go back to the backyard and I'll show you back there. Okay guys, you can see here's the backyard here, full of vehicles. So a couple of these here, I'll do some more videos on some of this other stuff that's here. That'll be in my property cleanup. Right there's a 78 F-150 custom short wheelbase, 4-wheel drive. That's got 400 in it. Here's another one of my builds I'm building. Right here's the frame to it. That is a 2003 F-150. That this frame right here, my plans are with this frame is I'm doing a Raptor build on a 10th gen F-150. So my plans were to get this frame painted, get it done, and I'm wanting a 6.2 liter Ford motor, Raptor motor, on this frame and everything before I put that body on the frame. So that's another future build. There is another F-150, I think that's a 77, I think. 77 F-150 Ranger Explorer. And then I've got a 2000 F-250 4-wheel drive diesel frame right there that I had plans for doing a project on. Never got to. Let me pause this real quick and get around here. And so there we got a 99 Durango. I've got plans for it. It's got a 360 in it. Sable that we'll get into on another video. Here's another Fox body. We'll get on to that on another video. F-150 I used for parts. Right there is a 76 F-150 Super Cab with a 360 in it that I've had plans for. Here's a Taurus I was going to mess with one of these days. We'll do a video on that. I bought that specifically, so I'll get into that in another video. There's a Sable station wagon. There's a Cadillac sedan, sedan. No, not a sedan. It's a Seville. That's a Cadillac Seville. And there's a Mercor XR4 Ti. Then I got another F-150. That'll be in another video. There's my Mustang. That'll be in another video. Right there is a 1978 King Cobra T-top car that I've owned for a long time. Had plans for it and it's never gotten done. And then there's another one of my Durangos sitting right there. You see a video on this thing. I got plans for it. Right there is an 87 Ranger 4-wheel drive. Regular cab long bed. It's got 31-inch tires on it. At one time, I had a 2.3 liter turbo motor in that truck. That truck stock was a 2.3 5-speed. And I needed more power out of it because the regular 2.3 just didn't do it justice, really. So I ended up putting a turbo motor in it, and that thing would run. That thing would run. There's another, that's an 85 Mustang GT that I painted and everything, and then just left it sit. And my grandparents ended up, I put that car in my grandparents' barn. My grandparents passed away, so I had to pull it out of the barn, and it's been hitting here ever since. My grandma passed away in 08, so the car's been sitting there since about 08. And then here's another build I had plans for. It's a Ranger extended cab 4-wheel drive. It's got the 2.9 in it. It's got a 3-inch body lift. I had plans for it. There's a Thunderbird Turbo Coupe. Plans for it. There's an Escort sitting there. There's another notchback Mustang, 1979 or 80. I think it's an 80, actually. There's another Mercor XR4 Ti sitting back there. Then we've got another Mustang 2 sitting here. And we'll go around the other side here real quick. Get a better view of it. Got cats out here following me. Yeah, there's a 2-body. Then there's another Mustang. That's a rare piece there. That's a 1979 302 4-speed car. And it's been sitting out here ever since I got it. So let's get back in the shop here. I gave you a little tour of the backyard here, what I got. And yeah, this is a collection of shit that I've had for years. there's another Mustang sitting over there that we'll do a video on. So yeah, let's get back in the shop. So yeah, we're back out here in the shop. So that's a little bit of my story and background. So we'll get back into, if you there's something you particularly like to see in one of them cars I got, make some comments. I hope everybody loves my content. There will be a lot coming out this year. I've got a lot to do. Like I said, there's specific vehicles out here that I'll do certain videos on. There's going to be coming up here that I'm going to do a video about the process of cleaning up my property. This right here is at my dad's place. My dad's down in Florida, so I take care of this place and I take care of my place while he's down in Florida. So I'll be doing some I'll kind of do a rewind video on my property about what happened this last summer and cleaning up. So there'll be a lot of content coming out with it, about it. And then in the future process coming on, I'll do some content on this Mustang right here with the head work I got to do to it. My dad's career and his mechanics. I'll do some videos on him and what he's done in his life. He built race cars. He went into military, went over to Korea in 1958. He worked on everything the military had to offer. He worked on half tracks. He worked on heaters to half tracks and tanks. So he's got a pretty big background in mechanics. Yeah. So hopefully, tools. I'll be doing some more tools, like I said. So I'll be getting some of that stuff out. And I hope everybody enjoys what they see in my, stuff. I do what I do. I don't care how many subscribers I get, but it'd be nice if you watch my videos, subscribe. Helps me out a little bit. I've only got 98 subscribers, so I'm hoping to hit that 100 before my 1-year anniversary of putting my first video on. My first video was put on March the 15th, so it's coming up to the 1 year. I've got 98 right now, so there's a possibility I could hit that 100 mark. And hope everybody enjoys my videos and like what they see, and yeah. Maybe I'll do a different intro. Oh, another thing. My intro I want to do, maybe I'll do this one right here. I'll bring this back. I got to clear my voice here real quick. I'll do, howdy, YouTube. Maybe that'll work, huh, guys? Tell me what you think. But, yeah. This is Chef Shade Tree, and I hope you enjoyed it. Catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.